What's up, fellas? It's your main man, back on the scene with another video. I'm sure by now you have heard of the UK riots, and they have a right to be angry about this forced migration, but they're angry at the wrong people. It's your government and corporations that want this to happen. The same thing in the US. They want it to happen. So we should be protesting our politicians, not the migrants. Yes, I do want them to go back where they came from, but the problem is politicians and big corp. So we're gonna check out a couple videos and then I'll wrap it up. So let's check this one out. Make sure it's at 1.25 speed. Oh no, I can't do this. 1.25.
War is on the rise.
A civil war is inevitable. It will happen. They're not asylum seekers. They've gone through 16 safe countries. They're safe in France. France isn't at war.
And how did you get here?
Again, by boat.
By boat?
Yeah, from France.
Migrants are welcome here. Migrants, it's not their fault that they have to leave countries which are subject to war.
What do most people here in the United Kingdom think about all the migrants that are coming?
You gotta remember, your government, their secret agents, which is the government, creates these problems, the regime change and all that stuff. Let them people live how they want to live and bargain for whatever resources that you want that they have. That'll kill all that.
Coming over.
Oh, no, they're a load of racists around here. They're racist. Too racist, man.
The United Kingdom has recently erupted, and the kingdom is not united. In fact, it seems to be very divided at the moment. Riots have broken out across the country. The police have made arrests on men and women for speaking out, and the major underlying issue to all this is the current migrant crisis and the two-tier policing inside the United Kingdom. In this video, I will show you what has caused the UK to erupt as I investigate and dig deep into the migrant crisis. I will be going to the start of the issue here in Dover, England, and I will be speaking with UK's most controversial man, Tommy Robinson. I will be attending the largest rally in UK history and going to other cities that have been changed due to the influx of migrants. And I will also be going to certain parts of London where migrants have taken over parks as they have set up their own encampments. This is going to get hectic, and let's start by going to Dover, England. And
So it's the same thing here. Exact same thing. You know, I read a post, and I mentioned this several times, on a message board some years back. I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago. This guy was saying that globalists want to bring down the standard of living in the US to a third world country. And I believe they're doing the same thing in the UK. Let's rock and roll.
why is Dover such an important city regarding the migrant issue here in the United Kingdom? Because here in Dover is where thousands and potentially millions of migrants have crossed the English Channel from France on inflatable boats coming here to the United Kingdom. And from Dover to the closest town in France, it is about 20-mile stretch. And once a migrant boat gets within 10 miles of the border of the United Kingdom, they are then intercepted by the Coast Guards and they are brought here to this pier here in Dover. It's a pretty secret process that goes on here with the migrants. Right behind me is a barricade that we cannot see where the migrants are at. However, we do know that this is where the migrants come in and they are put behind this wall. And right over there on the other side, there are tents and buses that then take the migrants from here and they spread them out throughout the United Kingdom. And I'm also here with Brooker T. Jones, my mother, and she's gonna be coming along the ride to see what's happening here with the migrant crisis. So how do the people here feel about the migrants that are coming into Dover?
I don't like it, do they? There's too many coming over. It just ruins this town. It's ruined it.
And would you say the majority of people here in Dover and in the United Kingdom in general are very accepting of the migrants?
No. No one likes them.
What do most people here in the United Kingdom think about all the migrants that are coming over?
Oh, no, they're a load of racists around here. They're racist. Too racist, man.
What do you think causes all the racism?
Well, it's England, isn't it?
I'm not a racist myself. So with that, they're coming over here. But obviously, at the same time, yes, some of us are struggling. And when they come over here, they just get everything handed to them. Because obviously, they're the ones that need.
Same thing. Giving them money, giving them a leg up. Your money. You pay taxes. You were born there. Exact same thing. I think that guy who posted it was right. They're trying to bring our standard of living down. Because you're taking money from us and giving it to them. It's not right.
Need the help, but most people in Dover, you could go anywhere and ask anyone, they'd say they belong to go, they have to go back.
How do the people here in the town of Dover feel about the migrants coming in?
I don't know. I don't think they like it.
Why so?
Because they don't belong here.
And where should they go?
Back to their country.
Why don't you like them coming over in your country?
Because most of them ain't working, you know what I mean? Like, they're just coming over here and using all our shit.
How do you feel about the migrants that are all coming over?
I think everyone deserves a life, to be honest with you. If they need to come here to be happy and have a life, then I think they should be entitled to.
And so are there like cartels or other groups that smuggle migrants into the border?
Probably say so, mate. So there's a load of them.
In the United States, we have cartels that kind of control all the migrants. Is there some sort of thing like that here in the United Kingdom?
I'm sure there is, but you don't see it. You don't see it at all. There's definitely help for these people or misinformation for these people pushing them towards us, but yeah, I'd say there definitely is.
To better understand the UK migrant crisis, I met up with Tommy Robinson. Now, if you do not know who Tommy is, he is known for being the most controversial activist in the United Kingdom, as he has no fear to speak his own opinion. The media labels Tommy as a far-right British man who is a racist, fascist, and meanwhile, others say he's a patriot to the United Kingdom. And after this interview, you will see how...
It's always far right. I'm sure there's some bigots in the mix. Just because they're not down for the forced migration doesn't mean you're far right.
Tommy managed to hold the largest rally in the United Kingdom history. And now pay close attention to what Tommy says about the UK migrant crisis and comment down below what you think about this issue, because I think some of this information will shock you. What is happening here inside the United Kingdom with the migrant crisis?
The migrant crisis, we're losing our culture, losing our identity, we're being replaced. We feel like we're becoming minorities in most major cities. We're being driven out of our own country, driven out of our own towns. So people are uncomfortable with it, but people have been scared into silence from even having these discussions due to the fear of being branded a racist, losing your job, cancel culture. All these things prevent the public from telling the truth.
Cancel culture. Exact same thing here. Exact same thing. I'm telling you, I don't remember who that guy was. I'm going to try to go through my Discus post and see if I can locate it. I'm going to start from 10, if it can be done, start from 10 years back. See if I can find that post. I should have screenshot it.
I come from a town that's 30 miles north of London. When I was born in 1982, there was one mosque, there's now 45. Yeah? And 50% of the town is Pakistani Muslim. So I see the difference. I see the problems from hostility, the culture, the aggression, Islamic domination, all these things. So I've spoke about it, but 15 years ago, people didn't want to listen.
And where are the migrants coming from?
Everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So Afghanistan, Somalia, Eritrea, Pakistan, Iraq, Syria, they all say now they're Iranian. They all have their one to say so they can try and get in. But when we say migrants, they say asylum seekers. They're not asylum seekers. They've gone through 16 safe countries. They're safe in France. France isn't at war.
And why do they come here to the United Kingdom?
Because they get a free house. They get given priority above us. They get everything above us.
Same thing. Same thing they're fussing about in Chicago. They're doing it there. New York City. And I think they do it in New Jersey too. I'm not sure. But I do see a lot of people that look like they're from south of the border walking around the north. I want to say this, black folks. Your mayors, city councilmen, black caucus, all that sold you out.
So British people, you can go into this town centre, you'll find English people sleeping rough, homeless on the street. You go to a hotel and you'll see it full of 100 Pakistani men who are getting free phone credit, getting given money every week, and then in a few years they'll bring all their families over as well.
So in the United States, the same thing is happening as well. They're bringing the migrants over, but our border is different. It's a land, and they cross over the United States, Mexico border, and then they get put into hotels, and they get free healthcare, they get free phones, they get free everything.
It's not a mistake. None of this is a mistake. None of it. Your borders didn't open at the same time as our borders. Every border in Europe opened at the same time. 8 million people come through yours. They talk about them, literally, they took out Gaddafi, they opened up the floodgates to Europe by taking him out, and the migrants literally go 20 metres off the coast of Libya and they get picked up.
Ah, that's an interesting point. Very interesting point. Let's continue.
By NGOs which are funded by the German government, and then they get brought into Europe. And as they're brought into Europe, they come into our communities, they break down our communities, we're weakened, so and part of it is we're all looking and arguing with each other, whilst they're eroding our rights and our freedoms, all of our rights and freedoms. So it lowers the wage, which they like as well.
And so they're literally able to...
Yeah, that's what I keep saying. They're bringing them in to push wages down, because they don't want you to have any money. My father used to work in a warehouse, and they were able to afford a 4-bedroom house, 2-car garage. I think it was a 1/4 acre land.
come through on boats here into London or here into the United Kingdom, and they're let into society?
Not just boats. They come through on student visas. They come through so many. We let last year 1.2 million legal migrants.
1.2 million.
1.2 million legal migrants.
And this isn't a very big land. Like, the United Kingdom is pretty small.
6 million people.
60
million. We let in 1.2 million last year. And there's a housing crisis, and prices going through the roof, and no one can get a property. Young English people can't get on the property ladder, can't get a dentist appointment. People are pulling their own teeth out because they can't get a dentist appointment. So you're.
Gee, doesn't that sound familiar? United States.
Family have paid into a system for generations after generations after generation. You've lived in the same family. Your family have died to save and protect this country, and then you're put second rate, and they're flooding the country. You're paying for it. You're struggling. You can't get a dentist appointment. There's so many problems. You can't even get your kid in the local school because they're all full of all the young Muslim kids that are getting brought in.
So would you say that the English people here in the United Kingdom are being replaced by the migrants?
Not just English people. Every one of our countries we're being replaced. The whole of Europe, like people talk about the Great Replacement, yeah? And well, like we're saying, they're replacing us. There's a 177-page document from the United Nations on their plan to do this. This is planned, yeah?
And what benefits do the migrants get here once they arrive to the United Kingdom?
Yeah, it's obvious. I don't see how people can't see that. Bleeding heart liberals. When you don't have a life and your wall is full of dust, you're going to remember this day.
They get everything. They get houses. They get 3 meals a day. They get money. When I say they get 3 meals a day, you have got English old age pensioners who can't afford to turn their heating on. These lot are staying in 4-star hotels. You've got English people who are dying, starving, all these different things, living in poverty, and you've got hotels full. I'd say now this country, it's 1,000 years of English history here, 1,000 years, and within 2 or 3 generations they've absolutely destroyed this nation, and they're giving it away.
Wow. In the United States we have migrants from all around the world, but mainly Central, South America. We get a few from Middle East. What countries are coming in to Europe?
So your migration, I always look at your migration when people moan about Mexicans and think you have no idea, yeah? When you get Middle Eastern, when you get Pakistani, when you get Syrian, when you get Somalian, you are going to have a shock, America, yeah? Because you think there's a problem from the Mexicans. You have no idea. The hostility, the rapes. The biggest problem in this country is that literally an invading army's coming to this country and raping their way through it. They're raping their way through it. Our daughters are being raped. 2.5% of this country is Muslim men. 2.5%. They're responsible for 90% of the convictions of groups of men that rape young children. And 30% of the men convicted are called...
Yeah, they keep bringing that up. What was that show? The Talk? Forgot the lady's name. But you can't talk about it. Like here, they try to hide
Mohammed. Like, it doesn't work. And it's like mixing oil and water. It's not going to work. It doesn't work. Yeah, They're reliant on the state. They're not working. They're all on benefits. And these problems, as soon as you try and talk about these problems or highlight these problems, as an Englishman,
that's an alien culture. You cannot bring a large contingency of people from an alien culture at one time and expect them to integrate. They're not going to do that. They're not going to want to do it. And again, this is planned. They're trying to bring our standard of living down. You guys got to stop sleeping on this stuff.
Especially as a straight white male, they come down you like a ton of bricks. And the government, because these are all down to government failures in policy, yeah? So they don't want you talking about the problems or addressing the problems and warning about the problems of what open border mass immigration brings, especially from Islamic nations.
Would you say people are scared to walk around these streets here with all the migrants that are coming in?
Yeah, there's no-go areas across this country where women would be scared. I'll tell you what, go dress a young girl up and walk her through the town. Go dress a young girl up, an attractive girl, and tell her to walk through the Muslim area. See what happens. So what happens? Well, they're our daughters and they're our towns, yeah? And you've imported these people in, and you've took away the safety of the thing that we hold most precious to us, our families, yeah? And then when we try and talk about it, you want to silence us down. So we've been made to feel ashamed of being British, and all cultures are equal, which they're not, yeah? We are a superior culture. We should celebrate it. Being born English is like winning the lottery of life, yeah? We're the best country in the world, the best nation in the world, and we want to celebrate it.
Do you think the presidents of all these countries are in on this together, and do you think Donald Trump is going to interrupt this establishment that they're trying to create?
I don't think they are. We know they are. We know they are. There's an agenda. Now, I think Donald Trump, the reason why they've just tried to him was because he's going to get in the way. He's going to get in the way of what they do. They want war. They want the war in Ukraine. They don't.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't try to take him out sooner. But they want him out the way. So they can keep pushing this agenda.
Care that 500,000 Ukrainian men have been killed. They do not care, yeah? It's money, it's profit, okay? And I think that if Donald Trump gets elected, we'll have peace again. Certainly bring back peace.
Tomorrow is the rally. It's going to be the biggest rally that...
It's going to be the largest gathering of patriots that Britain's ever seen. And that is a historic date and a historic moment because people don't come out in support or celebration of their country. They've been dumbed down and made not to feel not to. So we're going to send the establishment, who will be watching tomorrow, we're going to send them a very powerful message that we're not sitting by silently while you replace us. We're not sitting by silently while you keep the borders open and you destroy our security, our stability, and the future of our children's.
The exact same thing. You got to get mad at these politicians. I'm not trying to attack no migrants. I want those politicians and corporations. That Citizens United was the worst thing that ever happened for the common man in the United States. And we should have been up in arms about that stuff. That January 6th, that should look like a walk in the park as to what should have happened the moment they pushed that Citizens United. Go look that up.
For our children.
What can we expect to see tomorrow at the rally?
Who knows, man?
The rally has now began here at Uniting the Kingdom, and now there are thousands, tens of thousands of people here. The time is here and now. How do you feel about all the migrants coming into Great Britain?
I'm not racist at all. Yeah, I don't mind them coming into the country and stuff like that. What I do mind is they're coming from war-torn countries and stuff like that. They're causing significant criminal offences, and the police are letting them get away with it. That is what makes me sicken. My granddad will turn in his grave at the moment. At the end of the day, I don't mind people coming to the country. Britain is a great country. Come to Britain, but flourish. Don't exploit the system. Come here, be happy and everything. You don't have to exploit the system. Britain's a great country. Britain is broken.
How can Britain get fixed?
How can Britain get fixed? Get rid of our government. That's what it needs to do.
Do you think migrants are going to continue coming in until they...
Of course they are, because the government's going to keep allowing it until we have some sort of restrictions on our borders. And now we've got a Labour government, and unfortunately...
He's got the right idea. It is the government. It's not them. Oh, the migrants, I should say. Yeah, I like this guy.
The Labour government has opened the borders even more than the Conservative Parliament. So unfortunately there is going to be more immigrants coming over. And I understand why they're leaving their countries, their war-torn countries. But it's all males. It's a bit weird, isn't it? How it's all males coming over. Males on the boats. It's not women, it's not children, it's just male.
The same thing here. Military-aged men. You guys can't see this shit? There was a family man with his family, and they went through a point of entry, or port of entry, whatever they call it. Fine, if they have a legitimate reason, and he has skills that we need. But just because my country's broke, no. And again, Western powers need to stop fucking with them people. So there's two sides to the story.
You guys have a rich history as far as World War I, World War II, and the veterans that fought for your guys' land, and now you guys are being somewhat replaced by a lot of these migrants. A lot of these migrants are coming in and people are saying they feel like they're being replaced, and the veterans that fought for you guys are on the streets while migrants get put up in hotels. How does that make you feel?
Obviously we're not happy about it. We've got nothing about migration. We're not against migration, we're about controlling our borders. If I was to go to another country I would be vetted, and if I'd been in trouble before or had any past history I wouldn't be allowed in. We're not about anti-immigration, we're about controlling the migration. And if we don't take control of the migration we're going to be outnumbered in our own country. We will no longer be a Christian country. We'll be controlled by an Islamic movement. That's what is worrying and concerning. £29 million spent on illegal immigrants.
And they spent damn near 500 billion here, according to an article that I saw, if it's correct.
In the last 18 months, all aged between 20 and 30, fighting age, no women, no children, put up in 4- or 5-star hotels. But yet there's veterans on our street, homeless, on the...
So I'm going to say it's definitely true that the globalists want to bring down our standard of living. So that whoever that guy was, he was correct. Because they're doing the exact same thing in the UK. Putting them in hotels, giving them our money while we're struggling. Nah, man.
street. It's all wrong. It needs to be put right. Government needs to be outed. If we have to issue Article 61 on common law, then so be it. We will do it. That's what's happening next if they don't listen. We will not comply.
You believe a civil war is on the rise?
A civil war is inevitable. It will happen if they don't listen. 100%. We're not messing about.
That's the same thing they're talking about here. I'm going to do one on Jericho. I keep meaning to do it. But it's a TV show about Civil War in the United States. Came out like early 2000s.
Yeah, they need to listen. They need to wake up. The sheeple need to wake up because they're asleep.
You don't see them coming across with their families. It's all military-age fighting men that are coming across. There are no women and children. They are raping our girls in the street because it's legal from where they come from. But they're coming over here, they're attacking our girls, our wives, our girlfriends, our daughters on the streets. My partner, she's of mixed race, English and Jamaican. So she's half black, half white. I don't care what colour you are, what creed you are. You come to our country, you live by our rules, you follow our laws, and you integrate. They do not want to integrate. They want their own states. They want their own communities.
They're fascists.
That's not what it's about. They are fascists. They are the modern day fascists.
And then it's weird because a lot of people would try to label that Great Britons are fascists for going against migrants. However, it sounds like the migrants.
They will try and put the British. They will try and put the British man down. But at the end of the day, if it weren't for the British man and the Americans when they joined, the rest of the world would be speaking German right now, if it weren't for the British man and the Americans joining in.
We've realised that through falling away from the church, we've actually lost our identity and we've allowed other people to come in. There are more churches closed.
Same thing here. They're talking about the exact same thing. Yeah, society's in moral decline. Whether you're religious or not, what's going on is just filth.
Closing in the UK now, at the moment, there are public houses.
They're becoming mosques. Our churches are closing and becoming mosques.
So you guys are traditionally a Christian country, but now you guys are being almost flipped to a Muslim country.
Yes, absolutely. They want Sharia law.
Do you think diversity is killing the Western world?
Yes, absolutely it is.
There are literally over 50,000, potentially upwards of 100,000 people here at this rally because they are sick of what is happening here in the United Kingdom with the migrant crisis and other issues that are happening here inside.
Well, they need to be. All right, so let's check this other video out. This is... let's get to it. Mike Rowe. I found this very interesting. Check out my man right. I believe his name is Hansen. Yeah, duh. Victor Davis Hansen.
I just got to Hoover, so it was on open borders. And so he said, I don't really worry about open borders. Let the market adjudicate. And I said, what does that mean? And he said, when the price gets down to $1 an hour, they won't come. And I said, but...
You see how insidious that is?
Are you going to be living on Nob Hill? And I'm going to be living where everybody's going to be trying to live on $1 an hour to compete with that. And I've seen it happen already. And people kill themselves or they don't work. It doesn't work to let the market adjudicate, letting millions of people from the most impoverished circumstances come up here without some type of regulation. Or he said, no, as soon as the wages stabilize on both sides of the border, you don't have a problem. The only way to solve it is to have an open border. And I thought, this is lunacy. Later, he's...
You see that? I'm telling you, this stuff is real. They try to bring down your standard of living and make you pay for it.
Said, you can't subsidize it, but it was that kind of jarring.
So I'm going to go to another one, Forbes with Bernie Sanders talking. Check this out, man. This stuff is insidious.
Make
sure the speed is right.
Control assets of $20 trillion and combined are the major stockholders in 95% of the Standard and...
Hold on, let's roll it back a little bit.
BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street that combine control assets of $20 trillion and combined are the major stockholders in 95% of the Standard & Poor corporations. That is what power is about. Three entities, three private Wall Street investment firms being able to be combined the major stockholders in 95% of our corporations. So oligarchy is about massive income and wealth inequality. Oligarchy is about the rich becoming much richer, CEOs of large corporations now making 350 times what their workers make. Oligarchy is about 60% of our people living paycheck to paycheck, despite huge increases in worker productivity.
See, there's enough money in the corporations to pay people decent money, but to put it all at the top. It's not enough that they make 50 times more money than you do. They have to make 350 times more money than you do. It's crazy.
But I'll tell you what oligarchy is also about. The billionaire class is not just satisfied to control the economic life of this country. They are moving aggressively to control the political life of this country. So while ordinary Americans get the right to vote, they have one vote, the billionaire class, as a result of this disastrous Citizens United Supreme Court decision, they have the right not just to cast one vote as a citizen, but to contribute hundreds of millions of dollars into super PACs who will elect their friends and defeat their political opponents. Now, if anyone in America thinks that is what American democracy is supposed to be about, well, I have a strong disagreement with you. Democracy is one person, one vote, not billionaires buying elections through their super PACs. And I would hope that here in Congress,
that needs to be outlawed. When Citizens United passed, it should have been like 1 million Americans descending upon D.C. Yo, fix that or else. We're not playing that game.
that on the campaign trail, leaders of this country make it clear that we have got to overturn this disastrous Supreme Court decision on Citizens United, which allows billionaires to buy elections, and move to public funding of elections. And that is where we should be going if we believe in democracy. Mr. President, when we talk about the issues facing working families, when I go around the country, and I was just up in Maine the other day, as a matter of fact, you ask people about our health care system. You ask them a simple question. And you say, is this health care system working for you? And almost without exception, what the American people say is our health care system today is broken, it is dysfunctional, and it is way, way, way too expensive. And when people say that, they are right. And I hope everybody knows that in America today, we spend twice as much per person on health care as do the people of any other country. Twice as much.
Yeah, we're going to cut that off there. I think you said something interesting at the beginning. Let's check that out. I forgot. Let's check it out.
Mr. President.
But I wanted to get that part in because it was related to the two previous videos. There's something insidious going on, and we need to step up and stop it. This got the beginning.
Senator for Vermont.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, when I turn on the TV or I read the papers, I read a lot about politics, and I read about this candidate attacking that candidate, and the other candidate attacking another candidate, and on it goes. But somehow or another, as a nation here in Congress and on the campaign trail and in the corporate media, we as a nation have a habit of forgetting to talk about some of the most important issues that affect ordinary Americans. We talk about a lot of stuff, but somehow we neglect to talk about the most important issues facing our country. And at the top of my list is the reality that in America, we are rapidly becoming an oligarchic form of society. What does that mean? It means that today we have more income and wealth inequality than any time in the history of the United States of America.
Same thing in the UK.
It means that there are three people, 1, 2, 3 multi-billionaires who own more wealth than the bottom half of American society. 3 people here, 160 million people there. That sounds like an issue we might want to be talking about. We might just want to be asking about how well the economy is doing for ordinary people as opposed to the people on top. And when we ask that question, the answer is pretty clear. The top 1% have never, ever in American history had it so good. They are making money head over heels. What we are seeing at the same time is a working class in this country that is struggling.
Y'all didn't want him to be president. You wanted Hillary, or the Democratic Party wanted Hillary.
Struggling to pay the bills, struggling to put food on the table, struggling to see that their kids get ahead. Mr. President, according to the Rand Corporation, not exactly a progressive entity, over the last 50 years, we have seen a massive transfer of wealth from ordinary Americans to the top 1%. In fact, there has been a shift of $50 trillion going from the bottom 90% to the top 1%. What does that say?
That's what I wanted to hear. There you have it, guys. You got to step up and put an end to the madness. The U.S., UK, Europe got to pump the brakes on that. But there's some other things that need to be done. The United States government and the European governments, stop that sanctions BS. Stop interfering in the global south. Drop a comment below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you brothers in the next video.